Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I have a Click and Grow Smart Garden review for you. As well, I take you along to check out the opening of a new Fabricland store up on Bloor Street here in Toronto. And I have a Kate Spade unboxing for you. So let's get started. If you've been following my channel for a while, then you'll know that I've tried growing herbs indoors several times in the past with a marked lack of success. So I started thinking that I'd have better luck if I tried one of those indoor gardening kits. So I was so pleased and thrilled to finally get my hands on a Smart Garden by Click and Grow. So the name Smart Garden is a little bit deceptive because there's no app for you to remotely control the lighting system. There's no pump to control the water, and there's no drip system to control whether or not you can add liquid fertilizer into the water. It relies on a passive watering system. There's a wick inside of each pod container that wicks up the water into the pod. I got the 3-pod starter kit, but there's also a 9-pod kit and a 9-pod Pro, which comes with an app so that you can remotely control the lights. And what I really like about this brand is that there are replacement parts which are available on their website, so you can get extra pod containers, extra humidity domes, extra arms for the light apparatus. So I find that it's a very considered product because if a part breaks or you lose a part, you can buy replacement parts for it. As well, it has a really huge variety of different herbs, veggies, and even flowers on their website. The starter kit comes with a 3-pod pack of basil. I also ordered a pack of the mini tomatoes. So as you see here, the pod is made up of, I believe, coconut fiber, and they come pre-seeded and pre-fertilized. So all you do is take one of the pods and put it in the pod container. And the container has a lid and a tab for you to write the name of the plant. As you see here, I chose to plant 1 of the basil pods and 2 of the mini tomato pods. And I placed a piece of clear tape over each tab and then wrote on it with a washable marker. And I would suggest using a washable marker and not a permanent marker because you want to be able to reuse the pod containers over and over again. And that's why I used a piece of tape and wrote on it, because I wanted to be extra certain that I wasn't going to mess up the tabs. And then I filled out the tank until the float reached the top edge of the tank lid. And that's that oblong thing that you see at the end. And then I placed humidity domes over each pod container. And you're supposed to keep them on until the sprouts reach the height of the domes. And then you're able to take them off. It's been a few days now, and I can see that the seeds are starting to sprout. I'm so excited. So the lighting arm contains 3 LED lights that turn on and stay on for 16 hours. So you have to pick a time in the morning to plug it in, and then it will turn on for 16 hours. The lights are quite strong, so I would recommend placing the garden in a spot where the light is not going to bother you, because it's going to be on for 16 hours. As you can see here, I added those 2 extra extender arms to the lighting apparatus because my basil plant is growing like absolute gangbusters. The tomato plants are a little bit slower. I had to thin them out. And I was able to save about 50% of the seedlings, and I placed them in extra plant pots that I had. I placed the plant pots on a windowsill, but I found that they didn't really grow that well. I found out that glass actually filters out a lot of the UV spectrum, and they started doing a lot better when I moved the pots as close to the smart garden as possible, as those grow lights are full spectrum. I can't wait to harvest my very first basil. The fragrance is so intoxicating and heady. So in order to keep your basil plant bushy and compact, you have to snip the main stalk just above a node, which is where you see those teeny tiny little leaves growing at a 45-degree angle out from the main stalk. And that will force the plant to grow a branch on either side. It's been about 2 months now, and my tomato plants are finally producing flowers. I'm just so thrilled and excited. Because they are indoors, that means I have to give them a helping hand and help them to pollinate. If they were outside, the wind and insects would help to do this. So I have to give them a little gentle tap in order to shake the pollen off the male stamen onto the female ovaries. So that's all contained in that little yellow oval that you see in the middle of one of the flowers. I've been checking my tomato plants obsessively to see whether or not my novice pollinating efforts have actually paid off, and I can't believe my eyes. It actually worked. The tiny tomatoes that you see here are the size of peppercorns. I can't wait for them to grow bigger so that I can finally harvest them. This has been weeks and weeks of filming, patience, and waiting, but it has been so worthwhile. Here is my first harvest of basil. I'm having the basil with a salad of cucumbers and cherry tomatoes. Unfortunately, I had to buy the cherry tomatoes because my own little tomatoes are still growing and they're not ready yet to harvest. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see an update on how I get on with my tomato plants. I have to say that indoor gardening has been an incredibly soothing and meditative and peaceful hobby. It's just so wonderful to be able to get involved in gardening in a small way. Now I want to take you up to Bloor Street and the opening of a new Fabricland, and it is located on Bloor, just about opposite from Holt Renfrew. And if you've watched my videos, then you'll know that Bloor Street is basically the Mink Mile of Toronto. If you've lived in Toronto for a while, then you'll know that there used to be a Fabricland in the Bloor concourse, which closed down a long time ago. And I was so delighted to see that a Fabricland had reopened on Bloor. And it's just so ironic that it's located on the Mink Mile. So as you can see here, it has all different types of fabric that you can rummage through. If you're a sewer, you will be in heaven, because living downtown, it's just not easy to access these types of craft stores. This Fabricland has more than one floor. The floor upstairs has fabric that is suitable for upholstery projects as well as curtains, and they also have a small selection of home decor. What I was really interested in was their selection of yarn, craft supplies, and sewing notions, which are located in the lower level or the basement of the store. So obviously, because it's Fabricland, they're not going to have a huge selection of yarn available. But like I said earlier, because I'm located downtown and accessing craft supply stores is difficult downtown, I'm pretty happy with whatever selection that they have. So as you can see here, the store is basically packed full of all sorts of craft supplies. So here I am back home with 5 balls of green wool yarn, and they were $7.99. So it ended up being quite costly when you multiply it by 5. It's the middle of summer, incredibly hot, so I think I'll wait until autumn to knit myself a scarf, which I hope will go with the green Kate Spade puffer jacket that I received this past Christmas. Speaking of Kate Spade, as promised, I have a Kate Spade unboxing for you. And these were gifts from a family member to celebrate the beginning of summer. And if you've been following along on my channel, you'll know that I went to the Kate Spade's outlet store in Las Vegas last year. I was hoping to find this tobacco colored crossbody bag, but I wasn't able to locate it at the outlet store last year. So I'm so excited to unbox this with you. If you remember, I also received a green Kate Spade crossbody bag to go with the puffer jacket. However, the large green wallet was sold out at the time. So the moral of the story is all good things come to those that wait. I realize now that the bifold wallet was definitely the better choice for my green crossbody bag, as I don't think the large wallet would have fit comfortably into it. As you can see here, the tan crossbody bag comes with 2 adjustable straps, a leather one, as well as an elastic fabric strap. It also comes with a matching coin purse. There are 3 side interior pockets, and it's quite roomy and will take a lot of stuff. If you're like me, your bag ends up as a catch-all for basically everything. So here's the long-awaited wallet with my green crossbody Kate Spade bag, which you saw in a previous unboxing. The wallet has lots of slots for credit cards and a compartment for coins, and I think it's the perfect size for this smaller crossbody bag. I can't wait to use it. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment and turn on that notification bell. It really helps my channel.